Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Village clerk, please call roll. Here. Move to item number 2, public comment. All questions, comments, are directed to the mayor. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to comment. Each speaker will be allowed 1 opportunity to speak. Clerk, please comment into the record.
Questions directly to the mayor, but you were supposed to get back to me on the answers. Okay, great, thank you, I appreciate it. My first question is, on page 2, there's a bunch of money given to elected officials for the IML conference, and just let you know I'm going to for you those. I'd like to know who has receipts for those. All right. For everybody to understand. Second thing is on page 4, there was a payment to Gallagher in the amount of $25,000. Can you tell me what area that was for? And on the credit card receipt on page, I just have a number on this page, it says Watson Raven. Can you tell me who that was for? And also on the last page it says $700 for bulletproof vest police officers. I thought we had to grant that. So somebody explain to me how we had to pay $700 we had to grant. Also, just for interest, on behalf of the Sauk Citizen Public Awareness, our group is whole goal is to find out what's going on here. There's no transparency in this administration, and we need to know about what's going on with our tax dollars. So just let people know, so they won't get upset with me, that we write for you because we want to know what's going on with the money. We have requested information about the housing, about the seniors, book bags, IMF, and anything else you think of that returns to the people's money. So just to let you guys know, I'm not taking any more phone calls. So if I get a phone call, it's going to be me and you. So can somebody answer my questions?
Before you leave, just real quick, I do have a follow-up question. You said engraving. You know,
engraving, it has engraving on the page.
It says engraving and stuff.
Okay. All right, and
You see it?
What page was it?
It doesn't have a page number. That's white engraving, ESD, and who is that for?
All right, and then the other thing was bulletproof vest. What page was that on?
The last page is a $700 on the credit card. I thought we had grants for that. Or what happened to the grant?
All right. All right, let's go ahead and move forward on the IML. You saw a bunch for elected officials. Those are, what are they, about $310?
Yes.
Yep, $310. What happens is elected officials get a check for $310. It's their responsibility to come back with the receipts from.
That's the seminar registration.
Oh, that was a seminar? Okay, I'm sorry. All right. So there you go. That's registration. So that's who they get paid for. That's who registered for IML. So that's
company registered? I don't know. Who registered?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So far. So their names are right next to the registration. So those are the registration. You're going to see coming on another accounts payable will be the amount of money that they get that they turn the receipts, and I think it's like $300, right? So, all right. Okay, we'll talk about that one.
So you said we pay. I understand you.
I'm answering your question, okay? It's for, there's no debate, okay?
I'm not debating. I'm asking you to explain.
So, I'm trying.
Okay.
All right. It's the registration fee for IML.
Okay.
The trustees and department heads, they go to IML. There's different classes that they take throughout the week. So there's a registration fee. So that's the registration fee for IML, okay? Which is downtown.
We pay them.
All right.
The
So
trustees pay them. We pay them, or the trustees pay them.
it's their accounts payable. So
So
it
we
gets
pay.
paid. It gets paid. Yes. It's just like any other training that anyone else goes through.
Okay.
So,
I'm for you.
all right, Gallagher, you can fight it, I don't care. And it's there and it's being paid every year.
Yeah.
Gallagher, do you remember, that is for work that was done last year that we owed them. We still had an amount, is this the last amount we owed them? You better use your mic.
This is the final payment for the paving of road. This is 2015 MFT CDB grant resurfacing project. And this is the final report, final payment for road repairs. 2015.
2015.
What
So,
area?
I don't have the areas. We can find that out.
Okay. There you go. And then the engraving, do you have a note on that one? It's the last one of the credit card stuff. Oh, it's for watch engraving? For ESDA? That's the watch we got for Art Johnson. Sorry. That's the engraving for the watch for Art Johnson that retired, so we finally paying for that. And then the bulletproof vest.
I got that, Mayor.
Okay.
So we had the 2 new officers get hired. The one officer came from a part-time position in another department and had a vest. The other officer did not have a vest and he fell in between the grant. So we bought him a vest. When we get our 2016 grant, we'll just reimburse ourselves for that.
Okay. And this is the officer's name?
Scrooge.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can I respond to her questions?
You want to do it now or you want to do it in your report?
Well, she asked about them now. I'd like to
Okay.
just anyway. So these accounts, the balance I'm going to give you are as of last week because I emailed the finance director during the meeting
Okay.
and he replied back the next day.
Okay.
So the balance of the water sewer fund as of the 17th was $579,805.37.
$805.37. Okay.
You had to send me 2 separate emails. What is owed to the water sewer fund is $1,387,384.70.
Hold on, 387,000.
$384.70.
Okay.
And he cannot anticipate any repayment or the exact date of a repayment at this time. As far as how much came in from the water bill in the last cycle was $201,383.82. 201, 383,
383.
and 82 cents.
82 cents.
That was for the last billing cycle.
Okay.
And what was owed to Republic was $40,449.99. And as of the 17th, that check had not been sent to Republic yet, as of that date.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Next.
Good afternoon, Board and Mr. Mayor. Just one small question. With the word transparency being passed around the last few meetings, I'd just like to know, Mr. Mayor, does the Board as a whole know everything each other knows about different things? Because I understand we have a little board and a big board, you know, where the mayor's only over certain people or two, and it seems like the whole board doesn't know what's going on. Is there real transparency among the board itself with each other, or is there a lack of? And this, I hope, Mr. Mayor, you give the trustees a chance to say what they feel, if they know or don't know. That's your call. And that's all my question.
All right. You know, again, the question you're asking is kind of subjective a little bit. Some trustees, they feel that they don't know everything. But there is information that's provided maybe to some trustees that aren't provided to other trustees. I met with Trustee Burgess right before the village board meeting tonight, where I gave him information that the rest of the board doesn't have. He's going to report on tonight. Information when it comes to budget and finance, that goes to the Budget and Finance Committee. This last week, I think it was last week, trustee, we met with the department head. None of the trustees were invited. So when you ask, does all the board know what everything's going on? Okay, probably the answer is probably no. Okay, but when it comes to information getting out to the board as a whole, there's a couple things that happen. Information goes to the village clerk, the village clerk sends out emails to the village board. Okay, that goes out to them as a whole. Okay, other information is provided to the board is during the village board meetings. Okay, so through reports. So like the information that I talked to Trustee Burgess about before the meeting, he's probably going to give a report tonight about the information that he's been provided, and the rest of the board will be informed that. So when you ask, is information given out to a trustee here, trustee there? The answer is yes, okay, and in a way, because I meet with trustees. Again, if something has to go to budget and finance, it's going to trustee Williams and probably trustee Myers. If there's something coming through public works, it's going through trustee Burgess, trying to make sure he has the information. And again, some of that's been part of my report tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that came through last week that I took upon myself, that I will inform the residents that I'm passing it off to the trustees where it should go, okay? I've been doing everything myself for so long, it's hard to let go on certain things. So items are going to be released, okay, to the board. So I'm sure there's things that Trustee Jones knows about Parks and Recs that the other trustees don't know until he comes to the board meeting and he makes a report. So when it comes to information that has to go out to the entire board is informed and it goes to the village clerk, or it may go through the village administrator, okay? But again, there's other things that happen where certain trustees are talked about certain things because it belongs to their committees. And their committees will discuss things, and it will be their responsibility to come back to the board as a whole during a committee meeting or during a report at another board meeting. So hopefully that answers your question. All right, thank you.
I hope your audience understood that. Thank you, sir.
All right, next.
I would like to say that one of our members from Human Relations, husband has passed, Miss Latara West. And I would like for us to, right now, I'm on the salary for her husband, please. If it's okay with you.
Sure. Thank you.
Also, the village clerk, Debbie Williams, has all the details about the funeral and things like that, where we'll be around for Saturday. And I would like, if it's okay with you, that she will announce that during her report.
All right, thank you. Next. All right, seeing none, we'll go to reports from the departments, committees, commissions. The fire chief is on a call right now, so I believe Trustee Myers has his report. Trustee Myers.
I apologize, the fire chief who just had a bad accident on 394. The chief is tied up with some reports and a couple other things, so he asked me to give his report. Fire department report, 8/23/2016. Over the past 2 weeks, the fire department responded to 30 calls. The fire department responded to 1 gas leak, 3 structure fires, 5 ambulance assists, 3 carbon monoxide alarms, 2 vehicle accidents, 12 fire alarms, 1 car fire, 1 water rescue, and 1 wire down, mutual aid call to another town to assist them. The chief would like to be informed the mayor and board of trustees. Please be advised that the fire department has all the ladders inspected in the past. All our SCBA air equipment, those are the bottles that we wear on our back when we go into the fire, has been checked and certified again. Door number 2 with the remote control motor, it was the wiring, all wirings have been replaced and the door operating. And our new engine is in Wisconsin for body work, hoping to see it by December. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee. Move to Police Department, Police Chief Kowalski.
Mr. Mayor, trustees, police service case summary for the last 2 weeks. We had 33 arrests. We had 565 calls for service. Cases of note, on 8/14, officers responded to call shots fired on the 21700 block of Peterson. Upon arriving, officers found several victims shot by an unknown offender or offenders in a drive-by shooting. Officers found several witnesses in the area, many of whom were uncooperative. Officers were able to obtain information about a possible vehicle involved and immediately dispatched the information to local area departments. Within a short time, Stager PD located a vehicle matching the description involved with the shooting, as well as the driver of the vehicle. The officers impounded the vehicle and took the driver into custody. Victims of the shooting were transported to area hospitals for treatment, at which time one of the victims passed, leading this matter to be classified as homicide investigation. Due to the severity of the incident, our detectives activated a suburban major crimes task force. The driver of the vehicle was eventually charged with first-degree murder. We've also contacted the FBI's intel analysts who are conducting a major compilation of gangs and gang activity in the south suburbs. So we'll be working with them. This is still an ongoing investigation due to information that we've obtained. In other news, animal ordinance. As reported at a previous meeting, a resident reported their dog was killed by their neighbor, their neighbor's dog. Since that time, a review of the ordinance was conducted and there will be some changes made. I'll be working with Trustee Myers and the ordinance committee on those changes. Also, a certified letter was sent to the owner of the offending vehicle advising the dog was deemed dangerous and needed to be removed from the corporate limits of Sauk Village. Officers confirmed on 8/23 that the dogs were removed from the residence. The owner appeared in court yesterday, was found guilty and fined. Our squads have been identified to be salvaged, had their radios removed, and are being prepped for the auction. Environmental news, the asbestos is being removed today from the police department. Afterwards, the company will conduct an environmental study to determine the mold issues. And lastly, I'd like to read a letter of thanks from one of the citizens. And it reads, Chief Kowalski, I wanted to bring to your attention the commendable service that Officer White gave to my mom on August 14th. My mom has lived in Sauk Village for over 50 years and as last year became a widow. She woke up on Sunday morning to find that her garage had been broken into and left with a large hole in its side. She contacted the non-emergency number and Officer White was dispatched. He treated my mom with such care and kindness. He helped to secure the garage until my husband and I could get there that afternoon. When she thanked him for his help, he replied, I'm only doing what I would want someone to do for my mom. In a time when I feel officers are only given recognition by the media for what the media feels they have done wrong, I wanted to make sure that Officer White's superiors and the community that he serves were told that this officer went above and beyond what most would expect of him. Please make sure that he is recognized, and if you would extend my deepest thanks to him for everything he did that day for my mom. Sincerely, Sherry Stakel. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Chief. Move to reports of officers. We've got the mayor's report. Let's see here. I've got 3 things I'm going to report on and some things I'm going to defer to trustees. But first of all, last week I played in the Battle of the Birds. It was the police and fire chiefs against the mayors. I regretfully say that the mayors lost, but that we got creamed. 22-8. Oh, I'll tell you what. This sounds worse, but you should have not in the field playing. It was really bad. But it was fun. It was for a good truck. It was for a great cause. We were out there as a fundraiser for the officer in Park Forest that was shot. So Officer Tim Jones. So again, the proceeds and stuff went to help pay medical bills and help them. And they had a presentation to his mother and father. So his father gave a good report. His son's getting better. So Again, our prayers are to the family, especially to Officer Jones. So, just want to make sure everyone knows that Torrance here will be closed on September 1st. They're going to be filling in the track. You'll see they started taking the tracks and stuff out, so there's going to be some asphalt work that's going on there. Last week, there were 3 issues that were brought to my attention, and I said I would make sure that we announced coming back to the residents at tonight's meeting. 2 of these I'm going to pass off to Trustee Burgess. I met with Trustee Burgess and I met with Kevin Weller, Director of Public Works. And this is a question for Public Works, so I'm going to pass it off to him. During his report, he'll report on the light there in Lincoln Meadows. He'll also report on the sinkhole in Lincoln Meadows there. I think it was Oakbrook, if I remember off the top of my head. So just want to make sure we know residents, so we get the report back to them tonight. There was a question about water meter charges. There was a $25 charge extra. We're still looking into that, and I don't have an answer tonight, but we're going to go ahead. Probably I think this is something that I took on, we didn't talk about the other night. But again, this is another Public Works issue, so KW, I'll have you work with Trustee Burgess on this one. Maybe hopefully we get an answer on this one also. It's been brought to my attention about garbage bills for residents with wells. We're going to be working closely with Republic to see what we can do, and here's what happens is your garbage bill is connected to your water bill. There's residents in Sauk Village that have wells, and they do not receive a water bill. They get charged a different rate. In fact, they pay a rate, what was that rate, about $5 to $6 more than what we negotiated with Republic. So we're going to be working closely with Republic to see what we can do somehow, if we can connect it to the sewer bill, or what we can do with those residents. It's only probably a couple handful of residents throughout the village, but they do get a different rate because it's not connected to the water bill. So we're going to be working on that, just so the board knows that. And then last week I announced some good news about the Aero Park grant that we worked on. That was a $235,000 grant, and I was going to bring that board out here tonight. I forgot about it again, I apologize. That when Governor Rauner became governor, he suspended all grants. So this last week we got word, this meeting last Monday, Tuesday, that our grant has been unsuspended, and it was part of the Sauk grant gap program. And that was a federal grant, so we're excited about that. Today I received another email, in fact at 8:50 a.m. this morning from Illinois government talking about the project, and they're authorizing advanced payment so we can get started on this. This is something that we're going to do pretty quickly on. I've contacted our engineers to find out what we have to do to move forward. We have to be able to have all the work done and all the bills submitted by February 14, 2018. So we'll be working really hard to get this project up and running. Again, this is a grant that pays for this, so we're excited. And again, everyone probably remembers I've been talking about it for a couple of years now, about all the work we did going down IDNR. We had to do a presentation. This gives us a quarter-mile walking path. It gives us a soccer field, updates all 3 of our baseball fields. There's some new lightage going in. There's new parking for cars to park. There's a new playground over there, and this is all behind Wagner School. So again, we're excited that we received that grant and that the grant has been unsuspended. All right, with that said, move to the village clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, there's no meeting scheduled for next Tuesday, August 30th. That's a 5th Tuesday. It was great seeing the community working together in so many positive directions, including 4 very successful back-to-school events. Many thanks to everyone who contributed and participated, and special thanks to Sauk Village Church of God, Crossroads, Grace United Church of Christ, Camilla Jones and the K. Jones Learning Center, and the Sauk Village Neighborhood Watch, who joined with School District 168 this year. I had the pleasure of attending 3 out of 4 of these events. I hated to miss Jamming with Jesus this year, but it was County Fair Day with the family. Trustee Myers shared a letter with me that he received from a meeting that he recently reported on. Calvary Church hosted an All Lives Matter event that Trustee Myers was very happy to attend, and that made an impact on him. He almost had tears in his eyes when he showed me the letter yesterday. And that letter will be going out on our email alerts. Well, Trustee Myers made an impact on them as well. Calvary, Trustee Myers, and other first responders will continue to focus on unifying and strengthening relationships within the South suburban communities. Fundraising for the 60th Anniversary Committee has begun. We will be hosting a trip to the Horseshoe Casino on November 11th. Tickets are $35. You can register for Entertainment mobile app. Use the entertainment coupons wherever you travel. You can take that mobile app with you. The cost is $20. I also had the pleasure of attending the last Intergovernmental Community Partnership meeting. It was very informative, and I believe this group of leaders from the municipality, school district, library, and residents will prove to be a great benefit. Last week, several ideas were brought to the village board, one of which is the community service program at Bloom Trail High School. During the community partnership meeting, I expressed my experience with helping students earn their hours for various reasons by partnering with Parks and Recreation and village staff. I think this is a great program, and I offer to continue assisting with the program. As a village board member and a library board member, I will continue to engage with this committee and help in whatever way I can, starting with attending the October 1st fundraiser. I'm looking forward to it. Finally, Human Relations Chair Frank Williams asked that I express condolences to Human Relations Commissioner LaTanya West on the loss of her husband, which he's already done that, but we would like you to please, thoughts and prayers are with LaTanya and her family at this time. The arrangements are as follows. Next Tuesday, August 30th, Lee and Sons Funeral Home, 7838 South Cottage Road in Chicago. The viewing is 10 to 11 a.m. The service is at 11 a.m. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Move to Village Administrator, Director of Public Safety, J.W. Fairman.
Mayor and Board, rather, my report is going to be a summation of other people's report, specifically building. I don't want to step on anybody. Briefly about Public Works, and Trustee Bird's going to ask the questions. If I'm going too far, please tell me I'm stepping on your area. But first of all, in community development, I will have these reports to the trustees tomorrow, the full reports. But the summary is for the front office of community development. We filed 3 liens equaling $13,998.56, and we have 24 lien letters sent out this week equaling $35,867.79. And we're waiting on giving the owners 14 days before we send it on to the comptroller to get money owed to the village, deducted from various funds from various owners. The finance department. We had a 42% increase in water sewer revenues over the same period last year. This year we had, as of today, $638,483.20 versus last year at this time, $370,975.08. And I want to say that we still have about 100-some thousand with people owing $4,000 less, like 150, 180,000 that we're trying to get people that pay their fair share. Okay, the finance department also has completed annual report ending April 30, 16 for the seized assets for the Department of Justice. This is a requirement from DEA. May through July, monthly finance report will be issued within 10 days. And I'd also like to say that, I think I said that May, June, and July will be within the final 10 days. With reference to the Kevin Weller, I'll try to be brief with Trustee Burgess. I want to point out a couple of things. I'll give you his full report if you don't have it. Public grounds and village, obviously they're continuing to cutting grass in all village locations. And with the help of Mr. Gary Holcomb, we're going to get some other kind of more substantial, I want to say mowers, cutters for larger weeds to some of these vacant houses, back lot or rear lot. The other thing is staff is working with the vendor and I've heard a lot of questions about this, to evaluate 20 individual locations where lights are going on and off, possibly with wire issues wire issues on our side. In other words, it may not be ComEd, it may be us. The other thing is, we will be more specific at the next one, Kevin tells me. On the building, work has been formed on the HVAC unit in the police department. We found that it had a bad compressor, at least Kevin did. The unit is 16 years old and needs replacement, and he has turned in 3 quotes. The importance about this is that this is very important in terms of police communication and record keeping. The garbage, we all know about, it's a day-to-day cleanup. Kevin says, and I agree, if you see illegal dumping, please call the police. Help keep our town clean. Hydrants and valve repairs and replacement. Staff is prepping to replace the hydrant at 224-26 Strasburg. Storm sewers. Staff has been cleaning out storm sewers due to heavy rain, and we have 3 locations that we're working on. And most of these are in Lincoln Meadows, that's 1904 219 Place, southwest corner of Oak Brook and South Brook, and 1914 Mary Burn. And then it's 219 Place. It's almost completed, and Oak Brook will be the next to go to get repaired. They're continuing to remove trees, and landscaping staff also started landscaping last year's digs from B boxes, the main bricks, and any other digs that are slow going. And that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor and the board.
Thank you. Move to reports of the trustees and board committees. Got senior committee and beautification committee. The senior committee first. Again, there's an alert for Medicare beneficiaries. You may be contacted by scammers pretending to be from Medicare. Questions are often asked if Medicare will legitimately contact beneficiaries. There are times that the Center of Medicare or Medicaid Services, it's called the CMS, will run Medicare programs. They contact you. There's 2 important things to remember that CMS or Medicare will not do. They will never call or come to your door without first sending a letter in the mail explaining why they are trying to contact you, and they will never ask for your Medicare number or Social Security number because they already have it. This fall, just so seniors know, the CMS is sending out a letter to random selected Medicare beneficiaries in part of Illinois and other states, inviting them to take part of a Medicare Current Beneficiary Survey. It would be called a MCBS. The letter sent to random sample of people explains that research from NORC at the University of Chicago and the CMS contractor conducting a survey, and it will be contacting them. Just remember that the survey is optional. If you do not receive a letter but receive a call from any person visiting from somewhere saying they are from Medicare or NORC, be cautious. Don't share any information with them. Let's see here. The senior committee opens senior activities again still every Friday from 12:30 to 3:30. Again, remember there's no meetings, no membership dues. Just come out and join the fun. There's always light refreshments, bottled water, and then of course the game of choice is Rummy Cube. And they also have other games, and they also have their computers, the TV, and the library room. So seniors are welcome to come out. This Saturday, this is the first one on August 27th, there's an open senior activity with a potluck meal. It's at 5 o'clock, doors are open at 3 p.m. All seniors 50 years old or older are invited. If you want to bring a covered dish that will feed anywhere from 8 to 10 people or servings, you can sign up. You can see Steve Shemkus or Frank Williams on the senior committee. And lastly, the Sauk Village Bluegrass meeting on Sunday, which will be Labor Day Sunday, September 14th, will be closed, so they're canceling the September 4th Bluegrass. Alrighty, that's the senior. And let's see here, beautification. Let's see, the August meeting was canceled due to the committee was busy with the Hootsie Awards. This year, 54 awards were given, and 3 of those were to businesses, McDonald's, Bear Paint, and Weatherstone Insurance. The committee will continue with weeding and watering as necessary. Weeding is on the committee's radar now that the Hootsies have been completed. Volunteers are always needed and welcome to join the committee's efforts. The next committee meeting will be held on the 3rd Wednesday of September at 10 a.m. here at Village Hall, and that concludes for the beautification committee. All right, with that said, we move to Parks and Recs Committee, Trustee Jones.
The asbestos removal was done today in the community center on the gym side. I haven't gotten a chance to take a look at it once it was all the way down, but I know that they started there first and then went over to the police station. 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Friday. That will be Uno night in the community center. All are welcome. This will be a very kid-friendly environment. So for some of you aggressive Uno players, it can get pretty bad with Uno, but that's something that it's going to be a kid-friendly environment, and all are welcome. Saturday, that's open gym from 11 to 3, and the corn and dog roast. There's flyers on the back table, and that will be Saturday, September 17th, from 11 to 5, right out in the back in the park, and there will be free movies inside the community center and free popcorn. And this is a collaboration with other community partners, and that's it for my report.
Thank you, Trustee. We'll take Public Works, Trustee Burgess.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a few things. As was stated earlier, I did talk to Kevin Wello today with his office to find out a quick summary of what he has done and what he's trying to do and what we're going to try to work on. But there were a few questions, as you stated, Mayor, about the ongoing projects. There's no one here, I don't think, that's from Lincoln Meadows, but they work. Yes, it is. I'm sorry. She's right up front.
Staring you down.
The lights that are over there, it happens that all the lights that we have in the village, there are 20 lights that actually are not owned by the village. I think you have one of them. Don't ask me how that happened. But anyway, irregardless of that, Kevin said it could be a wiring problem, which if it is, it's going to take a lot of work because we have to actually get inside that and change the wiring. It may be just a small resistor. If it's a small resistor or a ground fault, then that's easily fixed. So that's what they're looking at now, evaluating. Also, as far as the sinkholes, there's 2 sinkholes that are, one is in Lincoln Meadows and there's one in Deer Creek. Due to the circumstance with concrete right now, we can't, the money is not there to purchase concrete at this point. What they're going to do is they're going to put asphalt. The payment that you saw today in the, that was reported on, is just a partial payment so we can go back and start getting asphalt. So they're going to shore it up right now until we can get enough concrete, or we can get the money for the concrete that they can put concrete. But right now they're going to shore it up with asphalt so it can make it through the winter, and that'll be over there so you can let the homeowner right there that's in Lincoln Meadows know that they're going to tear it up, shore it up so it doesn't cave in. Also, it was read by J.W. Fairman about some of the things that they were working on, but I understand that we're going to be working also on identifying the hydrants. The hydrants were identified by the fire department and by our public works, but we're looking at putting a sleeve on top of the hydrants and letting the residents and the fire department, because a lot of times when they come up to a fire or whatever, they may not have time to look at it, they may just run, but if there's something there that's visible, we're going to look at getting sleeves so we can really identify from a distance if that fire hydrant is operable. So that's something that Kevin Weller, along with the village and the board, is going to be looking at to purchase those. Also, there was a problem with people throwing garbage. I think it was mentioned before that when you cut grass, and you get grass in the street, they're going to identify that. They may be handing out or telling code to hand out tickets because that's a violation. If you cut grass, when you get to the street, turn your mower around and push the grass back into where the grass is at. Because after a while, it will clog up the sewers, and then quite naturally, if that's clogged up, you get a rain, then it'll clog up the street, and eventually it gets to people's homes. So that's something that we talked about also. Tree removal, it's still ongoing. They still have over 300 trees to still be cut down throughout the village. It was reported, people were calling about the stumps that are left. I understand that, they try to cut us down as far as they can, but sometimes they can't do it. I would just kind of give people a heads up. If you see them cutting, go out there where your tree is at, dig down about 5 or 6 inches so they can cut that down. All you have to do is put dirt on top of it. You don't have to have that stump shown. So that's something that you can do. Yes, they said they're going to come back and eventually grind them out. But I can tell you this, they still have 300 trees left. And by the time they come back and grind it down, if you got it down far enough, it's basically maintenance on your side too. I mean, that's your home. I'm not telling you not to, but you should, do something and kind of help them out. If you see that they'll cut it in front of your house or they're coming down your house, help them out by, help yourself out by digging down so they can get down as far as possible. They're working on the vehicles. Public Works has a lot of different avenues that they work on. They work on the vehicles for the police department and do minor repairs. They do oil changes. So quite naturally, when they're out there cutting grass, they don't have a lot of time to do a lot of maintenance on the vehicles. But I understand today, and I think it was reported before, that they're cutting down the vacant lots now. So Public Works is actually cutting the vacant lots. Those are the people that we cannot get in touch with, cannot find out who owns it, or they just don't. So if you see something like that, please call the village and let them know. We kind of have an idea of who the lots are. We just haven't got to them. Public Works is doing that, and they're doing it on the weekend. So if it hasn't gotten to you yet, it's going to happen, and they're targeting those areas. That was about it. Oh, I think I mentioned it once before. If you see a water main break, and it's after Village Hall is closed, which is 5 o'clock, call the non-emergency number 1331, 758-1331, and let them know there's a water main break. That's the police department. They will in turn check it out. And if it's really, really bad, they'll call someone to have someone come out. If not, they will still call Kevin to let him know that that water main break is there. So if you see that, call the non-emergency number and let them know that there's a break in your neighborhood, because it does affect your pressure, especially if you see it shooting up 10 feet in the air. It does affect your pressure. That's all that I have. Thank you.
See, may I add one thing I think we might overlook, is that if you have a vacant house that has vacant lots and the grass is high, you call the police department, because they will put a sticker on that and they will actually tow that, but they got a certain amount of days, 7 days for people to get out there. We've done that with a couple of locations. That's going to help when we get the ability to get in there and cut the grass like it should be. We've already moved, I think, 3 last week, but I just want to mention.
I'm glad you said that, Mr. Fairman and board. I've been around to the neighborhoods here in the last week and a half, just riding around looking, talking to some of the residents. The green stickers are a pro and con, so everyone knows. It's a pro that you can identify, but it's a con that lets you know that house is vacant and someone can squat in there. So that's something I think we as a board and mayor, we should look at, because there were squatters in some of these homes that were so-called vacant with the stickers on them. It helps you identify that that house is not vacant, but our police officers cannot be everywhere. So some of the neighbors are complaining that, that those homes, and they can tell they're not vacant, so there's no one in there, so they go in, not only do they squat, they also steal the copper and the toilets and whatever else is in there. So it's something that we need to probably address. I don't know what type of way, but there's something we need to talk about and find maybe a different solution, because if they can identify that and go in there and it might be next to someone's home and they're squatting, that could be a problem. So I think that's something we should really seriously think about, either changing or somebody come up with another way to let, because really you're doing letting the police know that the house is vacant. That's what you're trying to do. But it also lets the undesirables know that it's vacant also. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
All right, we can move to Housing and Governmental Committee, Trustee Tate.
The Housing Committee met earlier this month, and I reported on that. So we don't meet again for a couple of weeks. The intergovernmental portion of that, I'm a little perturbed. I spent over a half an hour last week talking about 5 programs that I think will benefit the residents of Sauk Village. I asked the trustees to give me their consensus whether or not we could place those items on the agenda to be voted upon. As you would notice, there's nothing on the agenda regarding those 5 projects. There were tons of questions that were asked, and I tried to answer most of them, and there was only one dissenting opinion. Trustee Washington House didn't care for the community service project. However, that means there were sufficient trustees left to vote on this issue to get it resolved. I have delayed talking to Bloom Township because this board has not authorized me to move forward on that, to try to, in turn, offer a program that benefits the students at Bloom Trail who have a community service requirement before they meet graduation. And so there was a little urgency for me to get that done. But since none of that does not appear on the agenda, neither do the other 4 projects that I brought up appear on the agenda. So, Mayor, village clerk, whomever makes the call, I would like you to either explain why those items do not appear on the agenda, or we can scrap them if you don't want to be bothered with them, whatever you want to do with those. But the people on the partnership committee have devoted a lot of time to looking into these areas, and to just ignore it is wrong. So either we as a board need to decide if we're going to address those 5 projects, if we're going to throw them in the garbage and forget about them and move on to something else. But to keep delaying this week after week, I didn't have to say anything last week for what it was worth, because I talked and answered the questions that were asked to me from Trustee Williams primarily. She asked a half dozen questions or more. And so we had a good discussion to try to iron this out, smooth it out, make people understand the need. There's nothing about the tours of the municipality. I mean, that kind of thing is something that we need to move on. It's things that we need to do as part of the partnership team. So this board says, yes, you can do it, but there are things that we have to do to make sure that it flows smoothly. And we want to avoid any hiccups as we start doing this. But we can't keep sitting on our hands because this board is sitting on its hands and nobody's doing anything. So that's just my brief comment on the intergovernmental. And if someone decides to address the issues that I brought up, the projects that I brought up last week, that'll be fine. If they don't appear on the next agenda, then I'm just going to go back to the board report to this board. Go back to the partnership committee and report this board is not interested in working in a cooperative relationship with them. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, last week, intergovernmental initiative did ask for, they wanted a representative from the village to work in tandem with the school district, and he asked for you, Mayor, to either appoint or, so in other words, do it the right way rather than just do it piecemeal, because when he goes by whoever it is that you appoint to be that representative of the board or of the board with the other taxing bodies, they have the right to go back and bring things back here. But I can understand what he's saying, that if he goes back and tells them, okay, this is what we're going to do, then come back here and says, I didn't tell you to do that. That's not what he's looking for. He's looking for he's looking for a representative. He asked you to appoint a representative that would do that would be able to say, okay, the village will do this and bring it back to the board. But to go back and forth, because there are things that they want to do, they want to be able to set up, as he stated, they want to be able to set up different tours. They want to be able to basically speak for the village, but not where it would cost money. Not where, you know, we have to vote, quite naturally, yes, if it is, you have to vote it out, but at least have the recognition of this board or of yourself and in conjunction with the board that they can at least talk for the village. And that's what he's asking for a representative. He didn't want to do it himself, which makes sense. You know, you come back and you do it the proper way, which is you ask, and he wanted it to be put on the agenda to have someone to be appointed, voted on, or however it may be, to be that so-called liaison between the different taxing bodies throughout the village. And that's what he basically is asking.
Okay, Trustee, I just want to refresh everyone's memory here. I just want to refresh everyone's memory, if you want to go back and listen to the tapes. I've got last week's agenda sitting in front of me. You did bring forth for the agenda. You asked for a consensus from the board to move forward, number one, okay? Number two, you've provided nothing to this board to vote on. There's no motion, you didn't ask for any motion to be placed on the agenda, or did you provide this village board anything to vote on? Second of all, I made it very clear that I would present someone to the board during the first meeting of September, and it's already been told to the village clerk to have it on the agenda. In fact, I went off and in that meeting, I asked the board if it was okay to present someone the first week of September, and the board said yes, okay? And that was as a community service person to deal with community service, all right? And the, under the municipal tours, you're supposed to work and come back with some type of policy on what we're going to do, and you're supposed to come back with dates, which you have not come back with dates yet. And then lastly, the residential handbook, you were going to make changes. In fact, I made sure that you received an electronic copy this last week, or the end of last week, so that you could make those changes and present those changes to the board at a committee meeting. Again, there's no policy. You have not provided this village board with an updated policy to vote on. So if you were expecting something to be on here, number one, you have to provide it. Okay. Number two, we made it very clear at last week's meeting when we would do stuff and what the steps were. So for you to come tonight, when this agenda came out a couple days ago, to say that you wanted something on the agenda, and I don't know how we're supposed to know that you're supposed to be wrong on something if you don't provide something. And again, based off our communication, again, I have last week's agenda sitting in front of me, based on our communication out here, your consensus of the board was you wanted to know if you had consensus of the board to move forward, because you were not going to move forward if the board was not in consensus with what you were bringing. So, again, I'll remind everyone the dates. First meeting in September, I will be bringing someone to the board to be that community service representative for the village. I will get the village board to approve that person. Again, the recommendation from the mayor with consent approval of the village board, like we're supposed to. The past recognition, that's your committee. Everyone out here except for one, like you said go ahead and move forward. So your committee is going to do that. Okay, I don't see anything you didn't provide us with anyone to recognize tonight that I know of. So that's why it's not on the agenda. Municipal tours, supposed to work together and come back with some type of information I'll have to go back and try to read my chicken scratch. But again, looking at dates, times, when we're going to do it. If I remember right, you said you thought it was going to be 3 days, approximately 3 groups. So we're going to try to make sure, and I also said during that meeting, make sure you give your chairman know, so that we can go ahead and make sure that those dates are available, and your committee, not just board to vote on doing it, but your committee will be able to do that. And again, the review of the handbook, you had not provided for today, I think, so. Do you have anything else?
As usual, you're wrong, Mr. Mayor. Go back and listen to the tape. Number 2, I'm waiting on your Director of Public Works to provide his input for the handbook. I cannot do anything with the resident handbook until your Director of Public Works provided the information that was requested. That's number 1. Number 2, I asked for a consensus for the book. Why am I going to ask this committee to go through all of this work unless this board wants to do it in the first place? It starts with the approval to do it, and then they can start filling in the blanks. It doesn't start with them creating a whole new world and you saying no to them. The guidance comes from, unfortunately, from you as mayor, but we need to get that done. So listen to the tape very carefully. You will not hear me ask for a consensus to move forward. You will never hear those words come out of my mouth. You will never hear those words. So go back and listen to the tape, and then you can just make your own determination from that point on.
Again, trustee, for something you can vote on, make sure you please provide the board. In fact, I'll tell you what we're going to do is put you on the first meeting of September, and you can come back to review the resident handbook that you said your committee was going to update. So,
as soon as your Director of Public Works provides his input, that'll be fine.
Well, then you have a person on your committee that's with Public Works, so you should have no problem getting that information. All right?
Listen carefully. Director of Public Works has to do this. I'm finished.
So, we'll be waiting for information from you. We want to put on the agenda to vote on. All right? Move to Public Safety and Orders Review Committee, Trustee Myers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple things tonight. First off, Friday, 10 a.m., I'll meet with my co-chairman and we'll go over some ordinance concerns that people make. And from that meeting, I will schedule a meeting with my subcommittee to review the ordinance that we're going to look at. Chief, is he still there? Or did he leave? Maybe JW might know.
Chief right there. That's your chief.
Anyway, oh there. Hey Chief, I've heard that, was there a ruling on the dog that killed the other dog? The dog has to be removed, or what did the county say?
Removed. Officer White verified the dog was removed.
Okay.
And taken to the Humane Society in Chicago Ridge. And there was a ruling by the judge on Monday, I believe it was.
Yes.
And finding you guilty. And a fine. Unfortunately, the judge rules on a fine, it's not us.
Did Officer White get a chance to relay that to Tammy? Probably was already in court.
She was in court.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. And on another note, the baseball game the fire department had versus cops. Well, they won by 1, but you guys got to look at something other. Now you take a firefighter standing on first base and a police officer runs to first base, and you think we're crazy? We're going to tell that police officer to carry in 357 Magnum that he's out? Hey, remember, we only carried fire hoses, all right? And we carried axes, but they got guns. So anyway, it was a good. We all had bugs swapping around in the mud and everything, but it was fun. And with that, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Trustee, all I have to say is one thing. That first base firefighter you had, one of our mayors hit him. Your firefighter did not move, and one of our mayors went tumbling head over heels when he bounced off at him. So there was no going through that first base firefighter. So no, but he was a brick wall. All right, move to Neighborhood Watch Committee, Trustee Washington.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I just want to say that
into the meeting tonight, I got a very disturbing phone call that my god sister passed away. I had contemplated not coming in because I'm the matriarch of my family on my mother's side, and they just all rely on me, but I wanted to come in anyway. So it is not with any less enthusiasm that I report that I am just so proud of the committee, Neighborhood Watch, for all of the hard work and the due diligence that they did. We actually were able to purchase and receive donations of 535 book bags with school supplies, which was just incredible. I'm going to really do something later when I'm in a much better frame of mind for them and with them. They were our outstanding committee. Also, I want to thank all of these people that were able to patronize our program this year. We always list all of the people that helped us sponsor to make that program a great success. I would also like to thank all of the parents that came up and thanked us for all of the hard work that Neighborhood Watch did to make that book bag program a success again this year. It's just so much going on in the land. There's so much going on in Sauk Village. One of my block club captains, Ed Sullivan, a lot of you know him. He has given me permission to announce that he asked you all to say a prayer for him and his wife. He is in stage 4 prostate cancer. His wife has congestive heart failure. One of my other block club captains, I don't know if I'm privileged to say her name, she has been fighting congestive heart failure for a while. She was rushed to intensive care with a heart attack. And you know, life is just short. It's just so much going on. My heart is very heavy tonight. Not that people care, but I'm just letting people know why I'm in a subdued mood tonight. I just really don't feel like dealing with too much anything. When you are healthy and walking around and you're fine, and then in 30 minutes you get a phone call that you're dead, not dying, but gone. Life is just surreal. But I do want to thank those of you that did work with Neighborhood Watch to help make that program a success. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee. Move to Budget, Finance, and Community Relations Committee. Trustee Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Budget and Finance Committee will be meeting immediately after the Ordinance Review Committee on Friday here at the Village Hall. Also, I received no questions from any members of the board for accounts payable. And Ms. Brewer-Houston, you did direct those questions to me earlier about accounts payable, but those were answered, correct?
Yes.
As far as they, so I don't need to follow up with anything with you.
Yeah.
Okay? That's all.
Thanks, though.
Thank you. Move to new business items. I would ask for a motion to approve the accounts payable and disbursements for August 9th, 2016 through August 23rd, 2016, according to Sauk Village policy. Is there a motion to approve?
Mr. Mayor, before you make that motion, I would like to make an amendment to that to not include, as I stated before, immediate checks. The immediate check was already paid and approved at that time by the consensus of the board. It shouldn't have to be put in as another approval of the board if it was passed already and it was paid. I've asked this several times, why do we include this? It was already paid, it was already approved by the consensus. Why are we voting on this again?
Because if you look at especially the credit card payments?
I didn't say credit card. I'm talking about the immediate check for petty cash approved. For petty cash, it was paid already. We talked about that at the last meeting, about where the money came and everything. It was approved. You had the consent of the board. Why are we reapproving? I've asked it many times to take immediate checks off accounts payable. If it was paid for already, why are we voting on it again?
All right, so you're asking to make a motion to amend?
Yes.
And remove the immediate petty cash. You got a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Village Clerk, please call roll.
Burgess.
Yes.
Yes. Myers. Yes. Tate.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Williams. No.
Okay, motion carries. All right, as for item B, motion to approve the ordinance for the Village of Sauk Village, Cook and Will Counties, Illinois, authorizing and approving the agreement for extension of collection and transportation of municipal solid waste by and between the Village of Sauk Village and Republic Services. Is there a motion to approve?
Mr. Mayor.
I got a motion on the floor. I got a motion already. Is there a second? Got a motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
Comment.
Trustee Washington.
I just want to say, based on my question to Mr. DeLuca, when would be the last time that you would service the village if we did not enter into this agreement? And you said immediately, you all would not pick up any more garbage immediately. That was correct, right? And also, your Skyline and our Republic, you all have been servicing Sauk Village, I think, I heard over 50 or 60 years. 62 years you all have been providing garbage pickup for Sauk Village. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Question, Mayor, are you on item B now?
We're on B still. We got a motion and a second on the floor.
And this is not for the contract, this is for the ordinance, correct?
Correct. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, will clerk please call roll.
Jones?
No.
Myers?
Yes.
States?
No.
Washington?
Yes.
Williams? Yes. Burgess?
No.
Mr. Mayor?
Mayor votes yes. All right, move to item number C, motion to approve special meeting minutes for August the 9th, 2016. Is there a motion to approve? Got a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, village clerk, please call roll.
Myers? States?
No.
Washington?
Yes.
Williams? Yes. Burgess?
No.
Jones?
No.
Mayor votes yes. Motion carries. Item D, motion to approve board meeting minutes for August 9th, 2016. Is there a motion to approve? Got a motion, is there a second? Got a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, village clerk, please call roll.
States?
No.
Washington?
Yes.
Williams? Yes. Burgess?
No.
Jones? Myers?
Mayor votes yes. Motion carries. Move to item number 7, miscellaneous comments from the mayor.
Mr. Mayor, we have to go back to item A. All we did was vote to take off.
I was just getting ready to get some clarification.
We put it as a motion on the floor with amendment. You made the amendment to remove, so we passed it. So
We passed to.
there was a motion, the motion to approve the accounts payable by amending by removing the $2,000. So it's already been passed.
No.
No, I made the motion to take that off.
No. His motion was to remove
To
the
remove
item.
the
It was
item.
not to approve the entire
Correct.
packet of accounts payable.
That's what your process. You approved, I asked if there's any
No, he asked for it to be removed, Mayor. That was the motion. It said for it to be removed. It didn't say to approve the whole packet.
That was the way I read the motion. So the motion was approved. All right, move to item number 7, miscellaneous comments from the Mayor and Board of Trustees. Trustee Williams.
Mr. Mayor, just for clarification, when the items that are for immediate checks are on accounts payable, I know that we've gone over this a couple of times, but it is part of the budget and finance committee policy. The reason why that's on here is Trustee Burgess is absolutely correct. This petty cash check and other immediate checks do receive a consensus from the board via email, usually if it's via phone call. However, if there's an emergency situation or an immediate situation, the finance director needs to get a consensus to make sure that the payment goes out. Once the consensus is gotten, whether it's through email or whatever, that money is then able to be spent. However, our emails are not something that is read during a board meeting. So the reason why it's always on accounts payable is for accountability, for transparency, so that it's there right here on accounts payable, so that we get it, so we're reminded of it, so that the public can read it and the public can see that the board approved and we get a petty cash check of $2,000. And it wasn't something that was done just via email a week ago or whatever. That's the reason why those are on there. And I know that we've had some questions before about whether or not we should do immediate checks, why are there accounts payable, things like that. But just as a reminder to the board and to the audience, is that's why. We want to make sure that everything, all the monies that go out are accounted for.
Trustee Myers.
Just a couple of comments. Like I said, I was involved in the big bag giveaway, and I want to personally thank the school board that's represented here, and the superintendent, and everybody that's involved. it's all about the kids, and I'm old enough to use the word kids, and they're going up there picking out their book bags and getting a book bag free. It's just for them. We was able to give away quite a few book bags. We still have some left over, but we did it concert with the help of a lot of people. My only question, I can't understand it, is how can you possibly get an invoice when somebody drives up to you in a car and drop the money in a milk jug? There's no way. We bring the money in, we dump it on the treasurer's desk, and he counts it, and he puts it in the bank. Now, if he wants what he counted out as the invoice, fine, and I have no problem telling the finance director to give it to you. But there's no way that I stood on that corner and I received funds. I can't tell you how much money was in that milk jug, but I can tell you when I got back here how much money that we put on the desk, and he counted out. He gave us a receipt for that. But that's what you want. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. And once again, the garbage situation, people, I've been involved in towns where garbage has been discontinued, and when you get temperatures 85, 95 degrees outside, and within 2 days, you can just imagine what the garbage is going to smell like, and that is what we was put up against. And if I had to do it again tomorrow, save that from happening in this town, I would do it again tomorrow. But that's what we was looking at. Yes, we do, and I grant. We need to look into it, find out what happened. And we definitely have people on board now checking into it, doing the internal investigation. And yeah, because I'm a resident of this town too, just like everyone of you does that. I pay my garbage bill. And, you know, if I think I know what happened, but I'm not going to speculate. I know by yourself told it, just that it was put in general fund and, instead of putting in a proper line. But I don't know that. That's what the investigators are going to come out and tell us. When they come out and tell us what's going to go on, then we'll have an answer. And when they tell us what's going to go on, I will make sure that if the mayor does announce it, or anybody else, I will come out for it. I don't have nothing to hide from them. But, and Marva, I just gave tonight a card to Trustee Tates that WinPAC's on board with us. So, that's all I have. Thank you.
Question for Trustee Williams.
Trustee Tates?
You may recall that last year when the auditors came out, they talked about us having items that had been paid listed on accounts payable. And they in fact stated we should not have, if it's been paid, it should not be listed like that. And you had said you were going to do some kind of separate document that would reflect that this consistency was taken and this piece is paid already. So it's not part of the accounts payable. But that's what we heard from our auditors last year. So I just don't know, I'm confused now about what we should actually be doing in the meantime.
Yeah, we did talk to auditors about that, and they said that it wasn't a practice that they recommended, and then we asked them what they would recommend, and they didn't tell us anything. They said it was something they hadn't encountered before. And you're right, that is when we went to, as a committee, and we discussed having that separate document attached. And it is not attached, and so this is the way that the finance director chose to present it this time. And I will definitely address that with him and remind him of that separate document. But I would rather have it on accounts payable than not to have it at all. Because again, to me, it seems like that would be $2,000 that would be spent that the board may be aware of because we received emails and we talked to the finance director, but that nobody else would be aware of. So I would prefer that it's written somewhere in black and white. But we did discuss a separate document, and I don't know why it was created this way this time, but I will send emails to the finance director to remind him for next time.
Thank you. Not yet.
Trustee Jones.
Well, I have something personal that I want to talk about. And it's about safety for the community, and it's about respect. I'm an elected official. I understand that. I know that questions, finger pointing, name calling, and all of that can happen to me. And I'm cool with that. I'm perfectly fine. And my family is perfectly fine with that. But what my family is not perfectly fine with is creating an unsafe situation due to certain trustees that's sitting here making statements about my wife. I've never spoken about anyone's wife. There's been heated moments up here. Never taken it to Facebook to bash someone's family. But people's family reacts. They see these things on Facebook. They want to know who's talking about someone that didn't put themselves in this position. You can talk about me all day long. You can do what you want to do, and that's what I'm here for. And I'll try to get an answer, and I'll try to resolve it. But to jump on my wife because of questions that a regular citizen should ask, and we as trustees should have enough thick skin to answer those questions. If you can't handle this as a trustee, why would you want to be a mayor? So I would prefer, I'm trying to be the mediator in a lot of heated arguments that's going on in the background. Please, if you're not talking about me or an elected official, please keep my family out of this. I have a lot of family that's local in Fort Heights and Chicago Heights that's on Facebook. And some of the things that's being seen, I would like to put the fan on that right now so we could please just stop this right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's too much I could say, but tonight is not the night for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple of things, and first of all, I just wanted to say to Mr. DeLuca, to Skyline that used to be in the village. Yes, it was 62 years that Skyline has been here, has served this village. They were family owned. And with that, they had a lot of leeway, and they were able to go along with the village when we couldn't pay, when we couldn't fulfill our requirement. We could do a lot of different things. Skyline was able to overlook and help us out over those years. My decision today was based on corporation and business. Skyline no longer owns or operates. It's owned by a conglomerate now. And if you saw the contract and read the contract, it is a more business-like contract, but it's also a contract that is ironclad, which means there is no leeway. If you don't do A, B will happen. That was my decision. It was not a personal decision. It was a decision I made on behalf of the village for a business. Who knows from now, next 10 years, whether Mr. DeLuca or the family would be involved. And I'm looking for something in the future that we could, if we have to negotiate, we can. But I appreciate what Skyline and the family did for Sauk Village all these years. Ever since I've been out here, 34 years. And I was trying to come to a conclusion where we can keep the contract that we have and then possibly negotiate another one in the next 4 years. That was my decision, and that's what it was based on. Because after looking at the contract, it was a business contract. Sure, we didn't have one like that ironclad. Yes, if we didn't pay. They never shut our garbage off. They never stopped. You know, we had a time where we had a miscommunication. But my comment today is really how and why did it get to this point? We're starting over again, or we're continuing an extension without the answer how we came to this impasse. People paid their money, and for Skyline or Republic, I'm sorry, to not get a bill for a month, in other words, they didn't get paid 1 month, we went without paying them, is not acceptable. Because we get paid from the citizens each and every month. It may not be on time, but we get paid. Sometimes we get paid 2 and 3 times, as I stated before, but they were only paid once. And sometimes they weren't paid at all. So to keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result is crazy. That's why I was hoping that we could find out why this happened. And everybody's throwing a buck back and forth. Okay, it's their fault, it's this fault. Now, with this new contract, there's no such thing. 61 days, I want my $386,000. That's why I made that decision. It's nothing else. Because if it was anything else, it would have been a yes automatically, like I stated before. Skyline has always been there for us. They've always helped us out through hard times. Sometimes they didn't even have a raise before the contract that we had in 2011. They kept the rates the same. But now it's ironclad. It's a corporation, a probably billion-dollar corporation that is in charge now. No longer is it a local. That was the reason why I made my decision. Second, Mayor, we're going to have I announced it already and saved the date. We're having a Veterans Celebration again this year on November 11th and 11th. So that'll be 11, 11, and 11 o'clock here at the Village Hall. All veterans are invited. We're going to have guest speakers and we're going to have some presentations. So right here, as we did 2 years in a row, we're going to have another celebration right here for the veterans in the village and in the surrounding areas also. Just wanted to bring that up. And that concludes what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee. I know we've probably read this enough, but I just want to make sure we cover some of this stuff. The trustee was asking, which we've given out every meeting, how do we get to where we are today? And I know that Mr. Duca and Ernie came to the board meeting, we talked about it. When you look at those amounts, again, and since like around $228,000 was due to underbilling, because residents were not charged what they were supposed to be charged. We've provided all this information to the board, we've provided this information to the residents. There's also the issue with the village did not provide the accurate house counts. So when you get to a point where you look at the amount of houses that are empty, the squatters that we had, again, remember, we were up to 99 squatters that were taking village water, were getting garbage pickup, and was not paying a bill at all. So, you know, we've done all this work in looking at how we got to this point. We provided the village board with all this information. We provided with all the detailed information. I think what's really important to realize is that, first of all, reverting back to zero, that's a $389,905 savings to the residents because of the underbilling and because the residents not making their water bill payments. We also heard tonight that residents that have bills of $400 or more consist of lack of water payments of close to $150,000 to $180,000. So you think about this, you may be sitting out there, you may pay your water bill, but there's a lot of residents that's not paying their water bills. There's a lot of residents that's not keeping up. So we're able to, now we're focusing on these, we're making sure that these water accounts are turned off so these residents come in. That's why JW was able to report tonight the increase of revenue we've seen in the past year.
because we are now going after these residents not paying their water. We are now turning their water off, and we're also working with the public to make sure that they're not picking up that garbage at those houses so that we do not get charged for a service that they're providing. That's what's important. The other thing too is to think about the monthly increase. It's $1.21 per month. That comes out to about 4 cents per day to have your garbage picked up, to be able to revert this amount that's all back to zero. If you're a senior, we're able to get the language added that there's now a senior rate. You're going to pay $1 less per month for anyone that has a household of one. You just need one, or someone 65 years or older to be able to get $1 less. That means the first year your garbage bill is only going to go up 21 cents per month. Okay, so we want to make sure that this information, we provide this information every single meeting that we talk about this. The annual increase, we went from a 5% or CPI, whichever was less, down to a fixed 3%. Again, it's a win-win for the village residents. Recycling. Although we had recycling already, you had to buy blue bags. The blue bags were approximately a 15 to 30 gallon capacity. Now, every single household is going to get a 95-gallon tote free of charge that Skyline will provide the information on when it's going to be picked up, provide training to the residents on how to recycle, and you're getting that free of charge. It's included in the bill. Okay, so you no longer have to go out and buy those blue bags. All right. The length of the contract, I know there's been a lot of people talking about it. It was extended 10 years. Okay. The house counts, Republic has agreed to work with our staff and conduct semi-annual house counts to make sure that we're ensuring payment and billing reflects proper house counts and figures. And our staff is working with Skyline, I should get over with Republic, to make sure that they're only picking up the garbage at the houses that people are paying at. So we've put a lot of steps in line. There's been a lot of work in looking at how do we get this way. We're providing this information to the residents. And in the long run, I look at this as a win-win for you, the residents. So, and again, some people are not going to think so. And, even though they may not think, we're trying to make sure that, first of all, make sure that we pay our bills, but second of all, try to negotiate in good faith with the Republic. I know the Republic's here tonight, and I appreciate you coming out. Republic could have said, you know what, pay that $300,000 and we're stopping service until you pay it. They could have done that, and there'd be a lot more people sitting here tonight because their garbage was not getting picked up than the ones that are sitting here tonight that are upset because they got $1.21 per month increase. So, again, trying to make sure that we continue to provide services, and it's at the lowest amount of cost. And I encourage you, go out and see what other communities are paying. Now, other communities are paying a lot more. We're going to be working with the Republic, okay? We may not speak before you walked in. We've got some residents, probably a couple handfuls of people there on wells. They're not getting charged for our water account. They pay more. You as a resident could be paying what the residents on wells are paying. And they're paying probably anywhere from $4 to $6 more, I think it's per month, than what you're paying because we've negotiated a price with Republic for the residents who have water accounts. So we're going to try to go back to Republic, and we're going to try to help the residents who have wells. We only have a few, but we're giving you a heads up. We've got a few residents that are looking for help. So, again, I just want to make sure I share this. And again, it's out there. We provide it, like I said, just about every meeting. So, and lastly, I just want to talk a little bit. I know the trustee mentioned about Facebook. I think what the residents, and especially the board, I guess I got to talk to the board more, is you're in a position of elected official where you're in a spotlight. Okay? Think about if the President of the United States got upset about every single thing that came out against him. Because there's a lot, they make comments that are vulgar about the President of the United States. They make comments every single day about the President that's not true. They're going to do the same thing to you. You're no different. You're an elected official. Okay? Now, I don't say much about Facebook. All right? Because the majority of the people that are out there that are attacking, number one, are not village residents. Number two, they are bitter. And that's what you'll find. The people that are usually attacking you, they're bitter. You know, when I became an elected official back in 1999, you know, you never touched a elected official, or you never touched a candidate's family. That was taboo. You never talked about their parents, you never talked about their mother, you never talked about their wives, you never talked about their children. Because you know what? They were not running for political office. Okay? But think about this. You know, there's perverts out there that will go extra mile to try to make you look bad. Okay? And again, when you talk about Facebook, I've got this individual who stalks my children's Facebook pages to try to find pictures to make me look bad, because these are pictures that you don't take with your father as a father with your kids. They're funny pictures. Can you imagine how my kids feel knowing that their Facebook page was stocked to find a picture that they took in fun that someone uses against me, and they use it saying courtesy of social media? Well, you know what? They're a stalker because they're older than my kids. It makes me wonder if they're a pervert to go out there and pull this stuff off. You know, the individuals go around sneaking by my house trying to take pictures inside the windows. I got daughters. They take videos of my kids. So you think about, you know, tonight you talk about someone's attacking your wife. You know, I've been doing this for years. Can you imagine someone coming by trying to take pictures inside your windows when your girls or your kids are dressing, or your wife's dressing? You know, you've got someone going by taking videos of your kids because they've got nothing better to do. So, you know, again, as elected officials, you should be very careful because, like I said, there's pedophiles out there and perverts. So I think you just need to be careful. All right. All right. With that said, ask for a motion to adjourn. Yeah, motion second. Motion second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you.